each of these presentations. We're not really doing them justice, but we're going to do the best that we can, and we're going to move straight on with Bevan Knowles, the team leader for Fleet Services at TasNetworks, and looking at lessons from fleet EVs. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I'm the Ford Fleet Manager, so I'll take any sympathy today, and I hope you're enjoying your time here in Devonport. Beautiful weather today, so I think you've got 2 more days, so hopefully you get a good experience from Tasmania. Oh, sorry, another one. So I'll try and keep to the 15-minute time. So just very quickly, there may be some people in the room that know TasNetworks, there may be people that don't. We deliver electricity and the telecommunications network in the state. We're owned by the state of Tasmania. We're a commercial business with assets of about $3 billion. We own roughly 750 fleet assets, which include light passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles, trucks, the bucket trucks that go up into the poles, and cranes, all sorts of things to keep the lights on in this state. 82% of that fleet is located in our work and services delivery division. So that's the field guys. That's the guys that are out and about in their utes, keeping the lights on and keeping vegetation low for fire and summer months. The fleet services vehicles and fully electric vehicles into the tool trade fleet where the vehicles are aligned with fit-for-purpose business operations. The reason I've mentioned 51% of our fleet is in the field is because they are light commercials. Light passenger vehicles are about 5%, and that's where our electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids sit. So we're talking about 5% of our fleet. And our replacement criteria for the light passenger vehicles is 6 years, at this moment, 6 years and 160,000 kilometres, whatever comes first. So that's a bit of an understanding of the business. So we have 2 Leafs, and one's out in front of you, and Paul's good enough to get it up here, which is fantastic. And some of the stuff I'm going to say is probably I'm going to repeat a little bit. It's been interesting to hear the other speakers, and we tend to sort of come across the same issues. But the reason we purchased these Nissan Leafs, I was involved in a workshop. Paul's there as well with the Tasmanian Climate Change Office and Joule Logic, and obviously it fits with our strategy. This is what we want to do. There are other elements that TasNetworks are interested in, but also through having electric vehicles, it is the future. I want to be part of that. So we purchased 2 vehicles for our fleet. We also bought a 3rd one for a not-for-profit organisation, Community Transport Tasmania, and that's sitting in Hobart. The figures I show today they don't consider that vehicle. It's just purely these vehicles that I'm showing here now. So we did a fair bit of, Paul and I did a fair bit of talking, and we've considered UTAS. We considered the Hobart City Council, where we spoke to these people to get an understanding, what are they doing with their electric vehicles, what happens. And out of that, we thought the best way to introduce our electric vehicles, the Nissan Leafs, is to keep them as pool vehicles. But we restricted that somewhat. Because we didn't just want to give these vehicles to everyone to drive, because as a fleet manager and a fleet team, that creates a lot of work for us, because humans love to pull cars a bit like a rent car. You get in them, you drive them, you dump them. You don't necessarily worry around them too much. So that was one of the things that we wanted to manage. So we've restricted that driver base, so we gained some operational experience with it as well. So, vehicle here on the left is at our Marais Street Ndevr head office. That's sitting in the other 2 on the your left, sorry, you're right, sorry. They're out at our Cambridge site, which is out near the Hobart Airport, which is roughly about 20 kilometres in distance. Do have to go over the Tasman Bridge. If anyone's been over the Tasman Bridge, there's a bit of an incline. So our costs today, what we're looking at with our experience at this point, is the average cost for the Leaf is about $6 per 100k. And we compare that against a Hyundai i30, which is a diesel, and that runs for us around about $8 per 100k. Now, one of the problems about the cost of the Leaf is that's based on a business charge at peak rates, which is around about 27 cents. Because we're using them during the day, we tend to charge them during the day. If we were to charge them overnight, we'd be looking at about 11 cents. So that's something that comes into play for us. And people may expect to see that, I suppose the benefits for the Leaf probably be a little bit larger for us. I suppose over time that will, but that's where we sit at the moment.
Not just running cost, is it? Or is that total cost?
That's just fuel cost.
It's fuel costs.
Fuel cost.
Yeah. So the other two vehicles that we purchased are two Mitsubishi Outlanders. One's here tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
Coming down. Now, our thinking around that was we didn't think they'd probably sit too well in a pool vehicle. We thought perhaps we'd get some individual drivers, so we're going to have a bit of a difference. So we provided them to staff who had access as part of their normal role, and we had one in Hobart, which is on a meter read around. We thought that may be beneficial. And we also had one here in Devonport. Richard Beveridge, one employee, put his hand up and said, look, I'm interested in electric vehicle technology, can I be part of this? So that was important to us, they had people who were interested. So we've given one of the PHEVs to Richard here in Devonport, and he's looking after that. We've also put a meter facility with Richard so we can sort of capture these costs as well. Now this is fuel costs, because we can only track one PHEV at this point. But our PHEV runs about $8 per 100k, and when we compare it to our ICE Outlanders, they're running around about $10 per 100k. So today, I sort of broke it into three areas: the cars, the people, the industry, based on our experience. So the cars, so as I mentioned, we're a state-owned corporation. I would love to have that BMW out there in my fleet. That would be fantastic.
I would love you to have that.
I'm sure everyone would put their hand up for it. I went to it, I've taken photos. Fantastic car. Would love it. The community may not see it that way. So we have to be a little bit careful in what we purchase, and we really, at this point, we need to look at mainstream type vehicles. Hopefully that culture will change, because to me there's a little bit more options out there for us from an electric vehicle perspective. Again, this fleet manager, higher capital costs. Yes, they do cost a little bit more to buy. We estimate, based on our buying power, it's roughly 5,000 to 7,000 more to buy an electric vehicle. That does come into play because budgets are getting tighter. One of the foundations of TasNetworks is to reduce electricity costs in Tasmania. So it's an area that we have to be quite prudent about. Driving range limitations. Yes, we've all heard anxiety, but it is important. I mentioned the Tasman Bridge. There is a bit of an incline. We have had people get a bit nervous when they start driving on the incline on the Tasman Bridge and they see the battery level go down. They go, oh, I'm a bit nervous. Obviously, they get over the hump and it goes down and it all comes up again. So it works itself out. But what we have found is with the Nissan Leaf, the manufacturer suggested I think it's around 140 k's. We are sort of getting about 100 k's, 80 to 100 k's out of the battery. depending on the driving conditions and who's driving. Because that does make a difference. The other thing is the new technology. Now, like phones, television, the market changes quickly. Buy something today at a Harvey Norman, it's probably obsolete already. Now, we purchased the Leafs in 2016. They're a 2012 model. Remember, we keep them for 6 years. So we purchased in 2016, we're going to sell in 2022. What does that mean for us? Nissan brought out the new Leaf, new technology. When do we buy? When is the right time to buy? You know, in 10 years, that technology, how advanced is that going to be? So that's something that we're a bit conscious of as well. How quickly will the technology evolve? Hopefully quickly like mobile phones, because if they go as quick as mobile phones, things will be looking pretty positive. Other thing, we've heard it again, resale value. Look, we haven't sold one yet. Yes, we've done our research, we've listened to everyone, they said, oh yeah, we've written it down to 0. Yes, we've done that. Keep in mind, 10 years time when we go to sell the Leaf, will anyone want it? Will they want the new Leaf? Absolutely, they probably will, because they'll be perhaps 240k range out. But that's not important to us at this point, because we just want to we want to get the technology into the business. We want people driving. We want the state to know that we are doing that. So for me, I'm not too worried about the resale value at this point. Yes, down the track, yes, of course, that comes into play. The people, don't you love them? Now, one of our successes, and I think Paul, with his research, with you, Taz, to me, this is a success. The induction. Fantastic, absolutely. Got these new cars, they saw them in the car park. I said to Paul, hide them in the car park. As soon as people see them, they'll want to drive them. We hid them as long as we could. And what, of course, we got, the important thing is we didn't let people drive them until they've had some driver induction. That's important. We teach them the technology, we take them for a little bit of a drive, you know, let's go over the Tasman Bridge, let's see how that battery level goes down and pops back up. Okay, so to me, that's probably one of the important things that we've done, the induction process. The other important factor, and I sort of may have mentioned this earlier, is selecting the right people. Because fleet, we have tyre kickers. It's part of the industry. Everyone wants to have a play. But again, we were so firm on that we wanted the right people to drive these vehicles, not just use it as a toy. So one of our main drivers of the Leafs is the IT department. And they'll really utilise these vehicles really, really well. They understand them. Obviously, IT, they love technology, they want to be part of that. So that has been such a good outcome for us as well. I mentioned Richard, he's going to bring his hybrid down tomorrow. Again, he was interested. Yes, let's get Richard involved in this because we know he will drive it the way that we want him to drive it. Hybrid, yeah, okay. There's a little bit more confidence in because you're kicking the petrol. But what we want out of that is what he can get out of that electric vehicle capacity. Mitsubishi suggests around about 50k range. We think Richard's getting around about a 40k range. But we know that it's a true testament of what's happening with the vehicle. Not so much with the motor reader. Could be a little bit of a different scenario. And that's probably why we're probably seeing a little bit of difference in the costs in compared to the two PHEVs. But different environments as well, I suppose, terrains. And as I mentioned there, different drivers, different driving behaviour, different savings and costs. But it's all different. I was talking to Charles Gregory out there just before we came to lunch. So it took him 14 hours to get up here. Charles, you are very patient. And he said, yes, but I know how to drive the vehicle. And I said, yes, that's our problem. we need people to know how to drive the vehicle. Someone will, it's a rent car. Some will drive it hard, some won't. Some will be conservative. So we will see trends change, spikes, drops, all over the place. The other thing is driver safety. We didn't want people getting in there and being stranded. I keep using the Tasman Bridge, I probably shouldn't, but if they panic, run out of battery, if you haven't inducted the right people, they may not have plugged in the power point, to plug in the power point to charge the vehicle. That's all important to us, because if we just let anyone drive the vehicle and they get in it and drive it and then run out of battery, they could be anywhere. So that's very important to us, that people understand that. And as I said, the induction process has mitigated. We haven't had anyone run out of power, out of battery power. That's probably down to that induction process and getting the right people to drive these vehicles. We're heading into 12 months. We are probably, Paul will look at me when I say this, we probably will open these up a little bit more if we can, because I want as many people to use. We have already, yeah. I'd like to sort of get them into the general pool car environment. That could be quite dangerous for me and my team, but I'm fairly keen to do that so we can get as many people driving as possible. I do have people in Launceston say to me, Bevan, when are we going to get an electric vehicle? And I said, where are you going to drive? I said, I'm going to drive the Hobart. I said, well, at this point, I can't buy you a Tesla. I can give you a hybrid, but if you're not driving around the city centre, you tell me you're driving around into the city centre on a regular basis, I can get you a Nissan Leaf, no problem at all, or an electric vehicle, no problem. That's the problem. A lot of people in Launceston drive the Hobart. So when we can get some technology that will allow us that beautiful Devonport, that would certainly help us. The industry. When we started investigating electric vehicles, I'll be fair to say, Paul, we were a little bit disappointed with the industry. I'll say this, I think sometimes it's about selling cars. I'm a little bit disappointed about that, because, as I said, we bought Leafs in 2016, they were a 2012 model. I hope I don't offend anyone here today. I feel that was a bit of a push to get rid of old stock. To me, as a fleet manager, I'm not really interested in that. I really want to buy what's the best technology at the time. But what we have done is, we've talked to other people, we've talked to you, Tas, hope I see you council. There are benefits. I did, with the hybrid PHEVs, spoke to Aurora Energy in Sydney. They loved them, they were about 15. Where do they drive them? Well, around Western Sydney, fantastic. Tasmania, it's a little bit different. Charging infrastructure, yes, absolutely. For a business, I said to Charles, where did you just stay for 14 hours? What did you do? He said, I walked up the road and got a coffee. I said, yeah, no good for us. He said, no. So we need some fast charging infrastructure, because from a business point of view, we don't really want people sitting halfway up the Women's Highway having a coffee for an hour, whatever it may be. We need them to work. So the sooner we can sort of get that environment happening, fantastic, because at the end of the day, we'll be paying people sitting around having coffee. And now, the positive about that is if we can get some longer range vehicles, but if they're going to one of our depots or somewhere where there's a charging station, that is a great benefit. We can actually do that. So they could drive from Hobart to Launceston to one of our depots, have their meeting, let's charge it, let's get them back down the road. Fantastic. While we're hopping up the Midlands Highway at coffee shops or petrol stations, caravan parks, not necessarily good for a fleet perspective and a business. Battery technology, you mentioned that, absolutely. We need mainstream vehicles to operate electric vehicles in a fleet environment. That's about it. Future, how quickly will it evolve, the technology evolve? I'm reading some reports that are saying 5-10 years. I just hope it's quicker than 5, probably not, who knows? Because really what we want is a practical alternative to the existing ICE vehicles. How are we going?
Whenever you're ready.
Right. Summary. Got to get this in. Fleet. They've got to be fit for purpose. Okay, we've got to be fit for purpose. Remember, light commercials are 51% of our fleet. Field workforce. You know, when are we going to electric vehicles in the light commercial area? So much better for me. Do your research. Absolutely. I mean, it's a whole new environment. It's different. It's a new culture. We have to talk to as many people as we can. Total whole life costs, yes, absolutely. Do we really know? No, we don't at this point. We're very early on in the game. We do have an analyst now that's starting to look at this data. We get a lot of data out of our charging stations now. So hopefully that'll evolve more in the next 6 months and we'll get a really good understanding of whole life costs. Drive reduction, absolutely imperative that happens. Lastly, the fleet buyer market is probably a little bit different than the personal buyer market. So whilst we can have these beautiful cars that are sitting out the front, from a fleet perspective, there are other factors that come into play. Some of it's perception, some of it's the image, some of it's the costs and the benefits out of that. Whereas the private buyer market is probably happy with the environmental benefits and happy to spend perhaps a lot of money for what you get. But that's not to say that electric vehicles can't be successful in the fleet domain. I think what we do need to see is development in the low, mid, light commercial electric vehicle market. I'm very keen to look at, I mentioned elevated work platforms, which at this point in time, very noisy, environmental, safety. I'm keen to find an electric one. So we can, there's environmental benefits, there'll be safety benefits for our employees. So I'm not just sort of just sitting on, a Nissan Leaf or an Outlander or a vehicle. I'm looking at that as well. Because if I can, I've said this before already, if I can get that into the business, I reckon I could probably have a holiday. Because I think we could get great benefits out of that. So that's it for me. Thank you for listening. Hopefully it was enjoyable.
Thank you, Bevan. It's really insightful to hear from somebody who's in the hot seat of running a fleet when we're talking about fleet management.